I said that I would cover the Dave Berman gang, mostly in Las Vegas, but I have to tell you, this guy, Icepick Willie Alderman, there just not a lot out there in the newspapers, or there's very few photos. Um, Usually, when guys disappear from print, it's because they were informants for the government, but I don't think that's the case here. Just odd. Anyway, Icepick Willie Alderman. He was born Israel Alderman in Manhattan in 1902 to Jacob and Esther Alderman. They were Jewish immigrants by way of Sweden. The family lived at 12 Mott Street. Today it's Chinatown. At some point, and for some reason, found his way to Minneapolis, Minnesota. He worked as a muscle man for Dave Berman. He collected arrests there for carrying a concealed weapon and assault. He supposedly ran a second store speakeasy. There's a lot of problems here. Bermans were wholesalers in liquor. I don't know that they ran speakeasies. The other thing is, I couldn't find anything. I searched under all his names that I have and couldn't find anything in the Minneapolis papers. Minneapolis papers are pretty good at picking things up. So I don't know. Maybe he used a completely different alias. But I even checked under random murders from 1925 to 45. Nothing, and certainly nothing with an ice pick through an ear. Supposedly, anyway, it was here in the Twin Cities that he earned this nickname, Icepick Willie. And the story being that he stabbed his victims through the ear with an ice pick and he punctured their eardrum so an autopsy wouldn't show any signs of a homicide. I'm not a doctor, but I got serious issues with that. I don't know that that's true at all. I'd be very curious to find out if that's true. I mean, obviously, sticking an ice pick in a man's head will kill him, but I should think it'd be very messy. The other problem I have with that is, murder is murder. You got to get in, get out, get it over with. You don't want to get caught murdering somebody. You got to hold a guy's head. You got to stick it in. I don't know about that. Anyway, he repeatedly told people that he murdered 11 people. I couldn't find anything. Again, I checked Manhattan, all over L.A., Las Vegas. There's nothing linking him to murders. I mean, even an arrest, you would think he'd be a suspect, but nothing. Um, Another nickname he had, which I checked under, by the way, was Izzy Lump Lump. Lump Lump being, I suppose, he beat people up. He moved to Vegas with Dave Berman. He was involved with managing or stealing from the Cortez, the Las Vegas club, the Riviera, and he was one of the original investors in the Flamingo hotel. In 1965, Alderman got indicted and convicted in the Colorado extortion of a disbarred lawyer named Robert Sunshine. Sunshine was disbarred because he was constantly stealing his clients' money. They got him on using telephone lines, interested, threatening a life of a man using a telephone. Uh, they said he owed them $78,000. The mob said he owed them $78,000. Sunshine said it wasn't true, that Alderman, Ruby Coled, had invested money with him into an oil well venture that didn't work out, and that they had taken the money, according to him, off the top from the counting rooms at the Desert Inn. I don't know. Indicted with him in that deal was Milwaukee Phil Alderisio from Chicago, Ruby Coled, who was a big, big deal in Las Vegas, and Americo DiPietro, Pete DiPietro, who was a coke dealer. Alderman was sentenced to 3 years and fined 5,000 in that case. I couldn't find anything, a court record, to show he was convicted. Uh, just newspaper reports, but there's nothing that showed fines or anything else. In 1969, supposedly, this is written all over the place as well, he was indicted for grand larceny and tax evasion. Couldn't find anything to that either, except for news stories which mentioned it in passing. He died in Los Angeles on November 14th, 1970. Couldn't find an obit for the guy. So I'm sorry, I wish I could be. What we have here is a case of one guy writing something and everyone else rewriting it. So I couldn't find any fresh material about this guy. Very weird.